Hey there, welcome back. This is LT Pramatron. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a quick review of the Hasegawa 1/700th scale series Akagi, Imperial Japanese Navy or IJN Akagi. Here's the box art. It's a little crushed, as you might notice, and yeah. The box art is pretty straightforward, nothing really to see here. And yeah, it's cost about, I got this from Amazon, about 35-40 bucks, free shipping. And then here's the instruction manual. It's roughly about 100 or so pieces. Pretty intricate. Let's see here, sorry. Now the Enterprise build had about 1 through 5 steps, and this one had about, let's see here, 17 main steps as far as I could tell, but there's a lot of sub-assembly involved, as you can tell from the from the fittings. Very intricate, as you could notice here. Struts, oh man, so many struts on this carrier. But once it's all done, and you'll see how it turned out. Turned out pretty well, and you'll be the judge. And there it is. There she is. Oh, is she a beauty? Not the most conventional of colors, I know. The reason why I painted these in this color was there's a mobile game out there called Azur Lane, and the color scheme is based on the character named Akagi, based on the aircraft carrier itself. I didn't want to go with a typical gray or green camo. Oh, so beautiful. I'm really pleased. I think this is my favorite build so far out of all the ship models I've done. Turned out very beautiful. At least to me, it's beautiful. That may look yellow to y'all, but this is actually a gold paint, gold metallic paint. I don't know if the video is doing it any justice, but yeah, black, red, gold, and white. So I was talking about struts earlier. That's the battleship portion, or battlecruiser version portion of the hull. If I can get this to focus, there we go. And you can see that they slapped the flight deck on top of the ship. So pretty high struts. The ship sat very high off the water, and I'll do a quick comparison for you a little bit later. Yeah, and I mentioned earlier struts. Struts, 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 struts. Oh, and oh. I'll lower this angle here. This part here had so many struts. So many struts. Struts and platforms, AA. Little guns here, secondary guns. Painted some white for some of the pillars here to break up the black a bit. Yeah, the Akagi was one of the 6 carriers that carried out the attack on Pearl Harbor. It was also one of the 4 major fleet carriers that was participated in the Battle of Midway. And if you're a history buff, and if you know about the Pacific War, the Akagi was destroyed in the Battle of Midway. All it took was one bomb to penetrate the flight deck and into the hangar bay in this area. So the bomb fell through and went through the flight deck, penetrated this area, this deck here, where they were prepping the airplanes. Prepping the airplanes with torpedoes, switching out bombs, and then putting torpedoes on. It was very laborious. It took about at least an hour to change all the ordnance. And when the bomb from the Hornet, I believe, or was the Enterprise? Anyways, a dive bomber penetrated the bomb. The bomb penetrated the flight deck to the hangar and exploded all the planes that were being prepped. It was a chain reaction of explosions careening down through the Akagi. And not only did it blow up bombs and killed hundreds of sailors during the battle, the Akagi leaked a lot of fuel as well, and that fuel became ignited, and really the entire ship became a burning inferno. And a lot of the water mains and damage control mechanisms were knocked offline, as well as insufficient training to save the carrier. My favorite feature of the Akagi is this smokestack here on the side. It's so unique. I don't know why I like it. Generally, other carriers would have smokestacks behind the island here, or part of the island. Despite the intricate build, the ship actually came together pretty easily. The most difficult part of this build was attaching sorry for the shaky camera, was attaching the struts here. And I'll show you some pictures to show you examples of it in mid-production or mid-assembly. This part here was the most difficult assembly here, trying to get it lined up with the flight deck when you install the flight deck on top of the ship. The paint came out really well. The decals, these are the white stripes here. These are the decals. And really with some spray varnish, made the paint pop even more. And it just tied everything together very nicely. As far as grading this, I would definitely give this 1/700 scale build an A for sure. It was a challenging build for an aircraft carrier, probably the most difficult carrier build is it difficult or tedious? I don't know, one of those two. No, it was more tricky for sure because of these struts, which I keep pointing out. So the hardest part is attaching the flight deck to the main boat. There's the island up close. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the paint scheme and how the gloss finish tied everything together, made the paint pop out more. I will also do a quick comparison. I have the Enterprise for size comparison. Just scoot this back here. Bear with me here. All right, we look at the measuring board here, cutting board. The Akagi from the very end of the stern. Goes from 8, 9, 10, 12, oh, I'd say about 14, over 14 and a half inches. Now comparing that to the Enterprise, which is also 1/700 scale. Let's see here, bear with me. Putting the end towards the end of the dotted lines. Nah, it's good enough. I'm pointing that end compared to that end. Oh, so it's somewhat accurate. I think the Akagi was a little bit longer than the Enterprise. I'll put up the stats on the screen. Real world stats. The Enterprise measured up to 14 inches versus the Akagi, again at the very tip of the bow, close to 15 inches. So the Enterprise right now is unpainted, and it's about, as far as main assembly, it's 98% complete. You can see I'm missing some gun barrels here and some planes. All I need to do is paint the Enterprise, but before I paint the Enterprise, I'm going to do an assembly on the Bismarck before I, paint the Enterprise. I'll paint both models together. But right now, my favorite carrier build or model ship build altogether overall is the Akagi. Man, it's so beautiful. I think it's beautiful. If you guys think it's ugly, go ahead and comment in the comments below. But to me, I love it. I just love the way this turned out. Such a beautiful ship. The planes really tie it together too. You got your A6M Mitsubishi A6M Zeros here, and you have the I think these are the torpedo bombers here, and the Val dive bombers here. I know they're not very well painted. I think these are, I don't know what these are. These might be prototype fighter planes or scout planes. If you know what these are, let me know in the comments. But these aren't Zeros, that's for sure. Or something else. But yeah, here are the dive bombers, torpedo bombers, and the fighters. Again, overall grade of this is an A. I'm very pleased with it. All the fittings came together really well, as long as you cut them out off the sprues properly. There were a lot of sprues, like 9 sprues altogether. And it is still available through Amazon.com for about $40, free shipping, depending on the seller you buy it from. It will take about 2 weeks to get it delivered from Japan to you, to your home, if you're getting it shipped to the US. And I do have other Japanese carriers too. I have the Hiryu and the Kaga as well. Yeah. The only super glue or adhesive I used was the Tamiya Extra Thin, and it's a pretty sturdy ship after using just that one adhesive. I used acrylic paints, and I painted this all by hand. No airbrush. I don't have the facilities to accommodate an airbrush setup. This is all hand brushed. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys later. And pretty soon, look out for the Bismarck and the Enterprise coming soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.